Okay, we don't have a president present, so I assume there's no president's report. Any public comment? Correspondence? Communication? Right? No? So we're on to reports. Mike.
I'm happy to report that this morning I deposited a check for $417,757 into the bank for the elevator reimbursement for the first payment of that grant. So it's arrived. Just replenishing our coffers a bit. And I did want to call out, and from my report on May 9th, if you're around, that's the Saturday before Mother's Day weekend, if you're around, we'll be unveiling a plaque in memory of Judy Schmelter, who was apparently an avid reader from the New and Popular collection. She liked the New and Popular books, and she was also a client of Janine Jeter's when Janine was in charge of the outreach program. So Janine made visits to her. When she passed away, her family thought that it would fit to make a donation to the library in her memory. So this is it's gone through the Friends. So that's the $40,000 gift that you'll see on covering your first day. Half of that will be dedicated for New and Popular materials, and the other half for outreach services. And we'll have a small unveiling of the plaque at 3:00.
And like the plaque is simply acknowledging the support. It's not a naming.
Correct. It's not a naming opportunity.
Okay.
That's it. And you did see, you probably all received an email, in case you didn't, it's in the packet, your invitation to the SAL's annual meeting coming up. I'm happy to do the RSVPs for everybody. If you think you'll attend, just need to know what you want for dinner. And
I know I can't attend.
okay.
Have it on my list to tell you.
Sorry. We should find out tomorrow, maybe tomorrow is a meeting of the SAL's board. And we have nominated our kind of, what are we calling it? It's a sort of reconnecting with democracy series with
Democracy check-in.
yeah, democracy check-in series. And so as a program of the year, and they I guess they will make their decision tomorrow at the SAL's board meeting. So we'll find out whether that was will receive that program.
Any questions for Frank? Okay, Jen.
I'm happy to report that for now, the New York State annual report is done and we submitted to SAL's. Because of all the delays, they have also been delayed because they have to review, or they kind of like audit the report before they send it to the state, so that they get less feedback from the state. It's kind of ready to go. And I believe that we will get feedback on that by tomorrow as well, or sometime this week. We'll get like a summary of anything that we need to add a note. And then they'll have time to submit it to the state, and the state will do their own audit of the information.
You guys got to go to Minneapolis?
We did.
Did you get to meet Brian Stevenson?
I did not, but I passed him in the parking lot.
Yeah, no, I've met him all the time. So he's kind of a personal hero.
I mean, he made us all cry.
And it's funny, as many times as I've heard his
Yeah.
story, it always packs an emotion.
Yeah,
You guys love it.
yeah. Yes, so thank you for my trip to Minneapolis. Still have to look at all my notes. I always do, like when I travel, I was like, oh yeah, look at all my notes. But I've shared like, sorry staff, we got like random emails and text messages and things I saw along the way. That's it, it's done, you can talk about the print thing. And it's in your report too. It is, I read your report. But do you have any questions?
The question, no.
Did you meet Colson Whitehead?
I passed him in the parking lot.
It's just
That
like.
was double, I thought it was. Yeah, it was a cool parking lot. For the random times that you could be outside, because it was very nasty weather, and I was grateful for the skyway system there.
And thank you for your flexibility with the annual report.
Yeah.
It was-
And Jamie helped, and Eric had the final touch.
Bumps in that particular road, but it's good to get that completed.
Yes.
Very true. So Donna,
I see.
Yes, we're over halfway or monthly, this, well, not monthly, but this month in particular because of Earth Day. Failing our print challenge. The idea was to print less than we normally do, and if you take out the one ginormous print we had to do with the poll votes for the upcoming election, we're probably gonna update that. We'll have cut down on our printing very decently. We sent the a memo out to the staff and their different particular ways that they can save, and that's good for everybody in case you're interested. So just so everybody's, so what Donna's referring to, I don't know if it's widely reported or not, but normally we get a print copy of the poll books for the vote from the Board of Elections. And they printed it for us forever. This year they told us that they would print it for us for 25 cents a page so rather than normally they've done it for free. So they provided it to us, and rather than give them $800, we could do it much more economically in-house. So we printed it in-house, but it's 4,000 pages, it's believing loud.
What's the legality of that? If it's a board, I mean, it's a public election, it has to happen,
Right, I mean, they provided us with the list, apparently that's their obligation,
Really
yeah.
interesting.
And just other things we're working on through the month. I did want to mention one thing that didn't put on the report though is these reports probably will start to transform a little bit as we're trying to integrate more accessibility features into that. This was the last month we could legally get away with producing the PDF style that we normally do. So I think what Brennan's working on and what we're kind of leaning towards is making everything an HTML page, essentially a web page. That way a lot more accessibility, flexibility can be added to those pages versus a PDF. So we'll be, all the department heads, everybody will be entering it a little bit differently than we do. We just upload it to a web page and we're done with it, or I just email mine to like special, I guess. And now it's going to be a form-based thing, and it's going to output as just a regular page, sort of like the agenda when you look at it on our website. Just see the headers and everything going down. It'll be laid out like that. Just scroll. It'll be similar to displaying the same way we do here, although instead of these pages being sheets of PDFs, it'll be more like it's kind of a continuous web page with titles. So it'll be different. We'll be tweaking it as we go and refine mistakes. Yes. And so there is a late breaking news this afternoon that the deadline for implementation has been extended till next year. Yeah, till April of 2020. Deadline was Friday. Was Friday. And today was JA's deadline for their particular launch of our new our public access catalog. That was today, and it wasn't that big a deal, but if, unless anybody's heard it, we'll seem to be okay. That's all I have.
Questions for none? Okay. Trevor.
So the one thing I wanted to point out in my report is that we're getting new library cards done. Scroll down to the nice part of my report, the fun. There we go. So, that is a take from a photograph of the Bruce Hiscock artwork that's outside of the Crawshaw Story Room. And, so if you look very closely, the glow in the background in front of the mountains, that glow, that's the Saratoga Springs Public Library, which was clear, if you're staring at the painting down by the story room, is very clearly what it is. So no, I'm very, very pleased. They're adorable cards, and I know when we were going through the process, we were looking at the art and talking about the art. This is the most time I spent with this artwork, and I've walked by it how many thousands of times, over the past almost 18 years. So I started getting choked up. Like, oh, this is beautiful. This is lovely. This really says a lot about us and who we are and thinking about Bruce. So yeah, anyway, and also the card itself, it's, it's not gonna make a huge difference, but I think it's a much more responsible card as far as we're using less plastic, less material. This image here shows there's a little gutter in between the wallet card and the key card. When we get our cards, that key card is actually gonna be attached, so there isn't any part that gets thrown away from this card. So there's gonna be no little bits of plastic or anything like that that's gonna get discarded. So those actually, I think, we're scheduled to begin printing today. We may have them by the end of the week or early next week. In the meantime, we're dipping into our Henry Putnam cards that that we have left over. So, any other questions about anything else in the report?
If people turn in their old cars and get the new ones, they really like the design.
Hmm.
They can for $1.
Yeah.
They can for $1 and they get a new number.
Yeah. Okay, just be prepared. Yeah, that's it. Catherine.
As I did want to tell you, the summer reading theme this year is Unearth a Story. And we're going to be booking our school visits soon, and we have begun working on our promotional video. So if anyone is looking for a path to startup, I can use you in my video. We already accosted some of Rick's staff and borrowed a hole they were digging and their acting chops. So you have a lot of competition, but if anyone would like to be in the video, please let me know. Otherwise, things are happening, very busy now. It's lots of fun.
Questions for Catherine? Catherine? I think in the order of reports, Kelly's report comes next, so if you want to just sort of bring this through.
The only thing I wanted to update you guys on, Rick and I had an interview this morning for a cleaner. It's very good, so I offered him a position and he accepted, so that'll be on extra work. Which was good, I know, fingers crossed. Other than that, everything is. Any questions?
Questions for Kelly?
Did that person resign on February 6th or get hired?
Raphael, did I not change the date? What was, I forgot to change the date.
Well, no, he resigned.
He resigned.
He resigned,
Raphael,
he
was
moved
it
back to
February?
Florida,
Yeah.
he went back to
Yeah,
Florida,
Florida.
couldn't handle one winter. Yeah.
He picked a.
Right.
No, but a lot of his family went with him, they went back. He said, no more.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Only things I wanted to highlight was, Saratoga Reads ended with a bang. It was a wonderful program, the capstone program. I think Nancy was there. Thank you very much for coming. Both Rebecca and Katie have, passed their notary exam, so we'll have 2 more notaries on staff at the library. And, Barnsa Library and the Seed Library launched in March as well, and they've both been so well received. And if you look at the picture of the fridge that I included, the fridge is empty, and it's empty like within days. People are just really taking, I think when I came back from lunch, there was 1 bag of beans, which is amazing. So people are definitely using it, and we're.
questions from Jamie? Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick?
As you know, this is a big time for us for transition. What's going on with the weather, but I was told it was snowing pretty hard at my house this afternoon.
Yeah, that's weird.
You can see we have some warring units, going on for this room, but I'm listening to them cycle. Like everything, equipment, software. We worked on the insurance company, been battling them to pull every penny we can from them. There'll be some satisfaction in next month's report. Other than that, it's getting the cooling tower up, the Legionella, New York State training. The usual transition. Any questions? That's all I have.
Thank you, Rick. I don't believe we have special committee reports. Right? And our unfinished business refers to the audit.
Right, and that was just to let you know that, I mean, it's as a placeholder. The last time we talked about it, we were still waiting for the final. We've received those and I'll distribute them to you, but I figured that this was not a meeting with so many people absent that we wanted to hear from the auditor. So we'll get them to come
To a future meeting.
to a future meeting. But as I reported last week, the findings remained the same, and our response, so the big findings were about, accounting for this $202,500 grant that was apparently credited as income in the wrong year. Is that right, Eric? That's what it sounds like. That's right. And then there was a slight change in when we had a transition in bookkeeping staff as a way that the premiums that we pay on one of our policies we have one company that does our Medicare Advantage plan that also covers some active plans, and we had booked them separately before the retiree portion of the bill and the active portion of the bill, but those got lumped together for a period of time. And so those 2 items, which showed up as findings in the draft, are final findings and our responses that we will be more careful in the future.
Questions for Eric about the audit? Okay, so we'll look forward to the visit from the auditors at a future meeting. Is there any new business? We don't have enough executives for an executive session, so we're gonna be skipping that. And unless I'm missing something, I believe we stand adjourned.